Hi guys, welcome to Daddy and the Don here for an special look at the upcoming Week 2 Premier League game between Crystal Palace and Brentford. Today I have three guests on the show. Firstly, my co-host Phil Highgate, representing Crystal Palace, and two Brentford fans, Laura and Dougie. Hi guys, hope you're all doing well. So Laura, first off, before I talk about the upcoming game against Crystal Palace, how are you feeling regarding Friday just gone? Obviously, beating Arsenal in your Premier League debut in a fantastic performance, a night to remember for all Brentford fans. So how are you feeling now, and how was you feeling on the day?
Well, Graham, looking back on Friday now, what an absolutely special night. It was absolutely incredible to open the new Premier League season and to beat a team like Arsenal. And of course, with my boy Sergi scoring the first goal for Brentford in the Premier League, but the first goal opening the Premier League as well. Special night, great performance. I'm buzzing.
Okay, so moving on to Saturday's game against Crystal Palace, you're away. Um, Going into this game, do you think there's an opportunity to get another win and 6 out of 6 points? Or do you think Palace will come back and be a hard opposition, obviously because they're at home and because they need a performance after the disappointing one against Chelsea? How do you see this game going?
Going on to Saturday's game against Palace away, I feel we're going to go into this game with a lot of fire in our boots. We're going to come out and we're going to work for it. It's going to be not going to be easy. It's a away game, and every game in the Premier League isn't easy. But I honestly feel with the win on Friday, it's given us this added confidence that we needed to kickstart our Premier League campaign. So I feel positive, and I'm looking forward to seeing how we play.
So do you think Thomas Frank will pick the same team, same formation, or do you think he might go slightly more attacking or maybe even more defensive, different formation? How do you see him lining up? Do you think any changes will be made for this game?
I don't believe Frank should make any changes to the team for Saturday. I think he should play the team we had on Friday. It's a winning team. Perhaps we should be a bit more attacking this time, and hopefully we'll score some more goals.
Okay, so what player is the key player for this upcoming game against Crystal Palace? One player in mind do you think will be the man that will get you the 3 points?
Well, I think all eyes are on our Ivan Toney. I think everyone's really looking forward to seeing him score his first Premier League goal, and I think Saturday will be his time.
Okay, Dougie, your turn. So, how are you feeling? I know you were there at the game against Arsenal. Briefly, your your emotions right now and your reaction to what was a fantastic and wonderful evening for Brentford Football Club.
Well, it's 3 days now since the Brentford's first ever game in the Premier League against Arsenal, and a resounding 2-0 win for us. It was a fantastic evening, a brilliant team performance by the lads on the pitch, matched by the fans in the stadium. And I thought that both the team and the fans made the game easy for us. Arsenal didn't quite get into the game whatsoever. I think they probably missed the two players that cried off sick. God only knows what's happening with that. But you can only play what's on the pitch in front of you. And Brentford acclimatised really well, and it's given me a lot of hope for the season.
Okay, game week 2 against Crystal Palace. What kind of prospect is this game going to be? Is it going to be harder than the Arsenal game, or do you think there's opportunity to get 6 points out of 6?
Looking forward to Crystal Palace at the weekend. They lost 3-0 in their first game, so I'm sure in front of their home fans they will want to put on some kind of performance to show them that that was just a blip. Brentford, on the other hand, it gives us more confidence now going forward. I feel, having beaten Arsenal 2-0. Yeah, we're looking good. I would hope for a draw, hedging my bets a little bit, but you never know. If we turn up in the right frame of mind, put in a similar performance to the one that we made against Arsenal, we could quite easily come away with a victory. Catching a team cold, I think, is to our advantage. They're playing at home in front of their fans for the first time in 18 months, and they've got a new manager and virtually a new squad.
Crystal Palace, where's their main threat for you in this game? Where do you think you need to isolate a player? And if you can do that, then there's a massive chance of winning. What player would you'd say that for Crystal Palace?
With regards to Crystal Palace, their main man is obviously Zaha. If we can take care of him, we should be okay. I think if Benteke plays, he might give our central defence a bit of an afternoon, but we're more than able to cope with them, that sort of threat. Other areas of the pitch where Brentford could consolidate is probably our forward play. We want to get forward as quickly as possible and closing them down, as well as we demonstrated against Arsenal. We didn't give them Arsenal's defence a moment's peace, and that won't change. That's our game plan.
Who's the key man in this game? Everyone will always say Tony, but for this game to be a success for Brentford, what guy needs to be on his A game to get you over the line?
Key men in the Brentford team for this weekend. I can't really single out anybody in particular. I think, as I said earlier, the whole team played well on Friday night. All did their job, and by the ratings in the papers and whatever publications online, they've all rated them at least 7, 8 out of 10. So, and many of them featured in commentators' team pick of the week. So it'll be another team performance. Everybody play 110% and roared on by a sellout following from West London.
Okay, Daddy, last but not least, obviously, like myself, not a great start to our team's Premier League season. Obviously, yours was a bit harder, Chelsea away, the Champions League winners. So, was you surprised, or you just, well, that's a free pass. We now need to start moving on and getting results. What's your feelings?
So look, with regards to the Chelsea game, I wasn't in the least bit surprised at the scoreline. I was fully expecting it. But what did surprise me and worry me was the football and the tactics. So if you watched that game without knowing who the managers were and that there'd been a change of manager, you'd just assume by that football that Roy Hodgson was still in charge. So I thought that was why we got rid of Roy, or Roy left, effectively, was to move the club forward, play better football, and Patrick was brought in to do that. Obviously, from that first 90 minutes pre-season, it looked okay, but in that first competitive 90 minutes, I didn't see anything change. So that's my biggest worry from that loss. The loss is not a problem. We're expected to lose that game, but it's the manner of the defeat that sours it.
Okay, so Brentford next. Honestly, do you think this should be 3 points? Is the opportunity to get off and running, or is this going to be harder now because of how Brentford started?
So when this fixture got drawn up, you'll be looking at, this is 3 points, targeting 3 points from this game. But obviously, the way the two teams have performed on their first fixtures, obviously Brentford beating Arsenal, Palace getting thumped by Chelsea. But then when you break that down, like obviously Brentford are on a high right now, getting a bit overexcited probably, but so they should do. They've been waiting long enough for it. But then we've been in the Premier League 8 years. We've beat Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal multiple times. Even Man United as well, a couple of times. And then we've probably gone on to lose to the likes of like Stoke, Watford, Brighton the week after. So this is what can happen in the Premier League. And you get that bit of overconfidence because anyone can beat anyone. You beat a good team. And if you break it down further, it was a very poor Arsenal team they beat. So it wasn't like they beat the Invincibles Arsenal. They beat a very poor Arsenal team. So this is the game where we'll see what both teams are really made of. If Brentford win, then they're going to be looking strong. If we lose, we'll be looking in trouble. Obviously, if we win, we're both back to square one.
So will the football be different on this occasion? It's very defensive and negative against Chelsea. Will he come out and play a bit of football and show, well, actually, no, we know what we're doing. We've got a bit of flair about us. Do you think that will be different because you're at home and you're playing a team that you would think you should win against?
To be honest with you, it has to be. Can't play against Brentford the way we played against Chelsea. Perhaps I can sort of let it go if it's just a one-off game. We're out of our depth. We didn't have a great first team available, had a few injuries. Still waiting to get more players through the door, I presume. But if we play like that every week, we're going to probably finish rock bottom. Can't really allow Brentford to get into this game, so we need to be on the front foot, put our mark on it, show Brentford why we're a Premier League team, established, and why we should be favourites for the game. If we let them into the game, then they're going to bully us like they bullied Arsenal. So 100% change of philosophy needed for this one.
Michael Leaf didn't play against Chelsea. Do you think he'll be fit? And if he is fit, will he start? And will he be a key man in this game?
I'm not sure if he's going to start, but I think we'll definitely see him come off the bench, depending on how the game's going, what the score is. And yeah, he's one of those players that if the game's 1-1, heading into the last 25 minutes, he can be a difference maker. So I'll be expecting to see at least a bit of him, even if it's not as a starter.
Hey, thank you guys. Score predictions. I want to start firstly with you, Laura. What do you think the score will be?
Well, I'm feeling quite confident that we're going to have our first away win, and I'm going to go 1-0 to the Super Bees.
Dougie, prediction how the game will go. And come on, give me a scoreline. What do you think the score will be?
Prediction-wise, for a scoreline, I think we can win again. And if we score once, we could well score again. Brentford, they play for the whole 90 minutes. So if we get an early goal, it might leave us vulnerable. We might see long periods of the game where we don't have much of the ball, which is pretty similar to what happened against Arsenal. But, you know, if we can weather any sort of storm that Palace throw at us, then we can quite easily turn it around and we could win 2-0 again.
Bill, you're last but not least. Predictions. What do you think the score will be?
So score prediction, not an easy game to predict. Obviously, all three results are in play here and all have an equal chance to happen. But I'm gonna stick my neck out and say 2-1 Palace. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was 1-0 or 2-1 the other way. But I'm going to stick with my team, stick with my heart, and go for a 2-1 Palace win.